Hello, race fans. Lewis and Rob from RunFast, the premier information site for the Triple Crown races, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and the Breeders' Cup Classic. We're here today to give you our picks for the Preakness. But before we get to the Preakness, I told y'all this is the most exciting 2 minutes in all of sports. Did you all, whoever, see the end of this race? Rob, you see the end of the race?
Yeah, I watched the whole race. I was pretty disappointed, but it was a great race. So it really didn't disappoint anybody but me because I lost.
Well, let me tell you how emotions swing in this race. So I hammered Fierceness. So let's start the race, and I'm going to show you the emotions that happens at the racetrack. So at the top of the stretch, I'm feeling good because Fierceness is right there. Now all of a sudden, he starts to fade, and I'm looking like this. Oh my goodness. Then all of a sudden, Mystic Dan. I'm hollering Mystic Dan. I'm shaking hands and kissing babies. Then here comes Sierra Leone. And I'm like, ooh, hurry up. And let me tell y'all, these things actually happen at the racetrack. You will see grown men doing a twist. Now, my man Rob here, don't be fooled by his cool demeanor. Now, I know he was like, come on, Sierra Leone, come on. Don't be fooled. You might think that he wasn't, but he was. That was exciting. Emotions swing back and forth at the racetrack. I'm thinking I have a loser. I lost all my money. Then here comes Mystic Dan. Mystic Dan, I put 10 on him, got back 200. Rob, take it away.
Well, I didn't put anything on Mystic Dan, so I didn't get back anything. But it was a great race. Sierra Leone, he came and
look at Rob. It's about a notch.
It was right by nose, and he was coming, and the jockey gave him a bad ride because if you look at in the middle of the stretch, how he came in and bumping Forever Young, they bumped for like the last 200 yards. So, Mystic Dan had a perfect run, and I give him all the credit, but the best horse didn't win this race.
Now, Mystic Dan, one of his earlier races, in the mud, he had that rail, and he shot up that rail. The one I showed you as far as the mutters during our first broadcast, he shot up that rail. So to me, he was right at home, on the rail. But he did start to fatigue. And I'm hollering and screaming and hollering. And Sierra Leone, who closes like a freight train, he did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, he did what he was supposed to do. But when you run that far out in the middle of the track, you running almost twice as much as Mystic Dan is running on the rail. So he had an easy rail run. And just like you said before, if he got that rail run, and I'm the one to say, oh, he'll never get that rail run again, and he got it. So you got to have a little luck, too. So luck comes with it. You could be good, but you got to be lucky.
All right. I'm about to give Rob a little shot at me. All right, Rob, what happened to Fierceness?
Oh, well. What happened is what I told you. Fierceness is a speed horse who doesn't have much speed. So he was out there, but he had like 4 or 5 horses that were looking at him. As soon as any horse come on par with Fierceness, he melts. Like I told you, he's a every other horse racer. And, he did what I knew he was going to do, and that's why I didn't want you to tell anybody to bet him. And I didn't want you to waste any money on him. I mean, you had the winner, which was 18-1. You should have won a lot of money that day. Like, you wasted money on Fierceness, which I told you. But you did win something,
So Rob and I, we had a standing bet. So he bet. Technically, he won, but technically he didn't. So we had a little bet that, because I'm a gambling man. Rob's a gambling man. So we had a little bet that, Sierra Leone would come ahead of Fierceness. And as you can see, Fierceness faded. But technically, I had the long shot, so I did beat him. But technically, I do owe him some money. There you go, Rob. Yeah, whatever.
You know what? Well, we're going to leave that right there because I got something in mind to redeem myself, and then you can try to redeem yourself.
Isn't that a killer? Like I said, the most exciting 2 minutes in all of sports. Take it away, Rob.
Well, the second crown jewel of the Triple Crown is the Preakness. And the Preakness is held in Baltimore, Maryland, at a track called Pimlico. It is ran at 1 mile and 3/16 distance on the dirt. So, with that being said, I would like to know who you're going to pick this year.
All right. Before I start with my picks, our first broadcast, we went over the weather conditions, and I'm hearing it's going to rain all day, Rob?
Yeah, it's going to rain the whole day. So it's going to be track going to dry out today and tomorrow, sunny weather. But Saturday, rain is in the forecast for the whole day. So looks like it's going to be a sloppy track this time for real.
So with that being said, I got to go with the person who won the race. I got to go with the person I brought to the prom. I'm taking Mystic Dan. Now, since this is a shorter race, I handicapped him at 1 mile and an eighth. So I got him running at a 149.87 in the mud, which is really decent. His equi-based speed is 106. Now his overall pace throughout the whole entire race is 53.6. Now from 6, the race is really won from 6 to 1 mile and an eighth. From 6 to 1 mile, I got him still at 53 paces, and from 1 mile and 1 mile and an eighth, he drops off just a little bit at 52.5. So, just like you saw in the Kentucky Derby, he tends to gas, but he held on. My second choice is Catching Freedom. Catching Freedom, I definitely like, but same with him. His average pace is 52.9. From 6 to 1 is 52.45, and from 1 mile and 1 mile and an eighth, 52.4. He comes from off the pace, and just like Sierra Leone and Anna Marie, he will come closing like a freight train. I think he'll hit the board, but I'm really not liking him as my pick to win. But he could be there. He's definitely a contender. He's definitely a battler. Now, my sleeping horse is Seize the Grape. But here's the problem. We don't know if he's a speed horse. So 6 furlongs to 1 mile is considered speed, but we don't know if he's distance. Now, he averages 55 at the pace, but that was speed. That's like sprinting. That's like a 100-yard dash, but we go on 1 mile. So you're not going to go all out, sprinting on 100 yards. So he averages his average pace is 55, but when he gets from 6 to 1 mile, he drops off dramatically at 52 paces. So I do like him as, my long shot, and maybe he'll get there. So I do like Seize the Gray. And for my last horse, of course, is Just Steel. Just Steel will be out on top. And, I think if he holds on, he can win this race. That's my long shot pick.
Oh, you done now?
Yeah, man.
Because before I give my
But I'm going to tell you why I don't like Imagination after he gets done.
Before I give my picks, I got to tear a hole in everything he just said. So his top pick, Mystic Dan.
The winner of the Kentucky Derby.
He won the Kentucky Derby. Yes, he had a great ride. And yes, he had a perfect run. But see, in this race, it's only 8 horses. It's not 20 horses. It's only 8 horses.
Good point.
And you have to be the best horse. So now luck kind of cancels out. Now you have to have, you got to be the best horse. And there's no way he's the best horse in this field. There's just no way. And he won't have that same type of luck. And even if he do, he still probably will lose. Your second pick was Catching Freedom.
Catching Freedom. Off the pace.
Catching Freedom can run in the slop, which it might be a sloppy track. But Catching Freedom don't strike me as a horse that wins. He did win the Louisiana Derby, at a very slow time. But he's not a winner. He's like he cleans it up. So he comes in the back end, the 3rd, 4th. He won't even reach 2nd. I'm going to tell you that now. And he's going to be 4th. I told him this before. He's going to be 4th. Mark that down.
He's definitely hurt my feelings roundabout now.
And then Just Steel, who is a speed horse. I think he came out of the Arkansas races. He came out of the race with Move. He ran second to Move, which was a good run. I did watch that race. He was on the outside for most of the time, and he stayed with Move. But Move blew that field away. I don't know if Just Steel is, I don't know if he's on par with these horses. You know, I watched him. I watched a couple of his races. I don't know if he's on par with these horses. And who was your fourth choice?
Just Steel was it. That was it.
Oh, Just Steel was the fourth. Seize the Gray. Seize the Gray is a sprinter. I'm here to tell you. Seize the Gray have run, I think, 3 times in the last month and a half. Seize the Gray is tired. Trust me on this one. Seize the Gray won't hit the board. He will be up there in front, but he's tired. You know, he did run on the day of the Derby. He just didn't run in the Derby. So I had to eliminate Seize the Gray.
So, Rob, let me ask you, man, because I do have reservations about, 2 weeks. My horses need at least 4 to 6 weeks off. And I'm really not confident in my picks because everybody I picked only had 2 weeks off. Even though Seize the Gray ran a Pat Day mile, and it was only a mile, in which I beat you in. It was only a mile. He still only have 2 weeks off.
But he's used to running with short rest. But I just think this spot is a little bit too big for him, and the distance may be a little bit too long for him. And there's lots of other speed in the race, so I don't know. With that short rest, I don't know. And he hasn't. He won't work because he just raced 2 weeks ago. So
that 135 miles, that's pretty fast, man.
It's very fast, but when you got somebody right alongside you, pushing you a little bit more, I don't know. So let me segue into my horses. Now everybody need to get their pen or pencil out and write this down if you want to make some money this time. I was very embarrassed that he even had a horse that came in the top 3, and I didn't have the winner. So
remember, y'all, he was like this.
This time, please listen to me. So I'm gonna set up the pace for you. So you got horses 5, 7, and 8 coming up. 5, 7, and 9 coming out. The 5-star Seize the Gray coming out. The 7-star Just Steel coming out. The 9-star would be Imagination. Those are your speed horses, which means they're going to be out front. So all 3 of those horses are going to be out front. Trust me on this.
Wait a minute, is this a little bit of analytics that you're using? The handicapper analytics?
I'm setting up the race.
All right.
So 5, 7, and 9 will be out front at the beginning of the race. First quarter to a half a mile, they will be out front, guaranteed. And so you have 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is Mugatu, who will.
No.
He's going to be in last place. You can take him off your tickets. Period. And then you have 2, which would be Uncle Heavy, who's a closer, and then you have 3, which would be that's not Mystic Dan, is it? 4 is Mystic Dan, and then 3 will be Catching Freedom.
Catching Freedom.
So those horses are your closers, and then you have one horse that I didn't mention. It's in the number 8, which would be Tuscan Gold, who's probably going to be in the middle of the pack with Mystic Den. They will probably both be in the middle of the pack. So
I knew it was Tuscan Gold.
I didn't pick anything yet. So my third place horse, my fourth place horse, is Catching Freedom. And I told you why. He's a closer, but he's going to come too late. He's going to be last in the beginning because that's the way he runs. He comes too late. So my third horse will be Uncle Heavy. And I know he don't like that horse, but Uncle Heavy is getting probably one of the best jockeys. Ortiz is jumping on him. Michael Sanchez rode him. He's a Parks jockey. He rode him before, but Irad is jumping on him, and Irad is going to get him out the gate. So he won't be last, and he will be closer to the pace, but not real close. He's a closer, and he's a huge horse. He's big, so he doesn't really have but he only has one gear. So he's going to plow it around, but he's going to come running. That last eighth of the mile, he's going to come running.
All right, can I interrupt you for a minute?
Yes.
Now, we use analytics and this, that, and the other, but sometimes it's just, what color you like, what jock. I love Irad Ortiz. I don't care what horse he's on, I'm going to bet Irad Ortiz, the rock star. Irad is rock star.
And he'll be a 20-1 odds, so it's nice odds. 21 odds. So my second horse is going to be Imagination. Imagination is going to be in the lead. He's going to be in the lead, and he comes from California where they don't run too much with moisture or wetness in the track. But when you're as fast as he is, it won't matter. He will be in the lead, and they're going to have to come catch him. And so he's the fastest horse in the race, and he's a Bob Baffert trainee. And Baffert, he wants to win real bad because he couldn't race in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, he's trying to recoup some of that money.
My first horse, now write this down, ladies and gentlemen, is Tuscan Gold.
Lord have mercy.
Tuscan Gold, lightly raced horse. Only 3 lifetime races. Only 1 win out of 3 lifetime races. But the reason I pick him is because I saw how he's progressed. He's gotten better every single race, and he's lightly raced. And it's a lot of times 3-year-olds, even though they're 3-year-olds in January, they may not have been birthed until April, May, or June. So they're starting to mature and fill out. He's starting to mature. He's starting to fill out. He's starting to run. His works are getting much better. He's a Chad Brown trainee. Tyler Gaffley on again, even though he lost me the Derby. But he's going to sit behind the speed, and he's fast himself, but he's going to sit behind the speed, and he's going to pounce as soon as they turn that corner. And I think he's going to win it blowing away. I think this is going to be his coming out party. Chad Brown. And Chad Brown has won, I think, 2 of the last 4 or 5 Preaknesses. So I look for Tuscan Gold to run a big one in his 4th. This would be his 4th start, 4th lifetime race.
When was his last time out?
His last time, speak of that, was the Louisiana Derby.
So
he lost against Catching Freedom. But if you watch the race, like I watched the race, he came from the 11th hole, and I think it may have been 13 horses. So he used to run in big fields. He came from the 11th hole. He was wide the whole way around. Like he got up into like that. He got a little bit further than the mid pack and not in the front pack. So he was right behind the front runners. 4 wide the whole way around. 4 wide the whole way around. And when he turned around, he did take the lead, but he was just gas. He was 4 wide all the way around. And that's when 2 horses came and passed him, which one was Catching Freedom. Came and passed him. But he stayed 3rd, and he passed, Track Phantom and all them. So I'm telling you, this horse, he will get a good run because it's only an 8-horse field. He'll be able to pick his spots. He will save ground, and he will be the Mystic Dan.
Now, so Louisiana Derby ran about 5-6 weeks ago?
Yeah, no, I think it run in March? So it could have been about 6 weeks ago.
So he's well rested.
He's well rested. His works are getting better. His works are getting much better. He's training good. He looks good. I think he's ready to run now. And this is Chad Brown race. Chad Brown is not a Kentucky Derby, trainer. Preakness.
So this is the thing about handicapping, ladies and gentlemen. Every handicapper think they're the smartest man in the room. But sometimes you just have to listen to what other people say. Now, Tuscan Gold, I do not like at all. But he's going off at 6-1, 8-1.
And he might get hammered down. I'm telling you, you watch his eyes the day of. Just like Forever Young got hammered down, the day of, Tuscan Gold going to be that horse to get hammered down.
Now, I don't see him, but this is called handicapping the board. Now, if he drops down from 6-1, like 3-1, 2-1, now, arrogant as I am, I got to put him in. I got to put him in my superfecta. So, because there's a reason why he's dropping down. I may not see it, but other people may see it. Now, I take other people's advice. I walk into, the horse. I walk into the track. I'll stop, old man, and be like, "Who you like?" And he'll tell me who he like. And sometimes I just have to like, why do we like that horse? Sometimes I just have to look at it. So, Rob's telling me he like Tuscan Gold. I hate him, but if he drops down, I'm definitely got to add him. I'm not going to tell Rob.
So since he said that, the money that I won from him, I want you to bet it back. You pick a horse that's going to be Tuscan Gold. Any horse, I don't care. And we bet that money back.
I'm still going with Mystic Dan, folks.
Okay.
I'm going with Mystic Dan.
Tuscan Gold is going to win. Book it. Tuscan Gold, Imagination. I forgot my 3rd horse. Tuscan Gold, Imagination, Uncle Heavy. Straight. No boxing, no nothing. Straight.
Well, I'm gonna box my horse. I'm gonna box my horse. I need to recoup my money too, like Bob Baffert.
5'9" Don't box it. Don't box it. Straight.
Don't box
and
it.
If you want a horse for the Super, Catching Freedom.
Catching Freedom, huh?
There you go. So I gave you the money. So Don't say I didn't give you nothing this time.
Okay.
You gave it to me last time. I didn't listen. Listen to me this time.
I'm a better back. We 2-2?
Yeah.
Because you called me up the Pat Day that I shot from the hip.
I
shot from the hip. I was good at that. And ladies and gentlemen, there's our picks. Oh, let's talk about Muth. I liked Muth. I thought Muth was a shoe-in. You know, he's going off at 8-5. You bet $10, you get 16 back. Now, the people up the racetrack, they call this, there's no money in that race. When you have a horse going off at 8-5 and you hit exacta might pay you $15, something of that nature.
There's no money in that race.
No, so since he dropped out, I think he had a fever.
Yeah, he had a fever this morning. I think he just got there too, so he spiked the fever. So they're going to hold him out, you know, just to make sure there's nothing wrong with him. But I didn't think he was going to win, coming off a little layoff. I did think he was going to finish in the top 3 because he is fast also, but I didn't think he would win. I think the horse is coming off the longer layoffs. They have a chance, but I don't know. I don't think.
Now, I'm thinking that's Bob Baffert's second best horse. Like, we haven't seen Nisos yet, and I still don't know where he's at.
Yeah, Nisos, he's been hurt, so he's out of training right now. We may not see him the rest of the year. And if we do, it'd be the end of the year, which I doubt he'd be able to race in big races.
So, you know, I heard information that they might hold Muth out and just run him in the Travers, the Haskell. You think we might see him in the Belmont?
No. He's probably going to go back to California. And, Del Mar, they have big races, Pacific Classic, stuff like that. So
now, ladies and gentlemen, I can't tell you where I get all my information from, but Muth was rated as the number 1, 2, 3-year-old in the land.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, so he was a heck of a horse, and I definitely had him as my pick. But now since he's down, this race is going to be wide open, and I think it's going to be a handsome pay.
Yeah, it should be a decent pay. So, one memory I did have of the Preakness, you know, this was a while ago, and I think it was 2008, if I remember right, such a long time ago, was a Fleet Alex. Ran in the Preakness after I think he came second in the Derby. He ran in the Preakness, and he was coming around the top of the stretch, and he fell to his knees. And he popped back up and ran and won the race. So that was like one of the best memories I had of the Preakness, and I had him too. So even though he was only 9-2 at that day.
Now, with that being said, it takes a lot of energy for a horse to come back up off his knees because you have these little legs and that heavy body. It takes a lot of energy for a horse to come out. Now, one of two things is going to happen when he does that. Either a horse is going to pack it in or he's going to show some resilience and get back in the race. And for him to win the race off of that, that's an adversity horse. That was a heck of a horse. So with that being said, there's our picks. I'm liking Mystic Dan. I got to go with, the person I brought to the prom, since I'm the prom king anyway. So I'm going with Mystic Dan. We got our little bet on, and my man who's the horse you like? Tuscan Gold?
Tuscan Gold, I'm telling you.
Tuscan Gold.
Superstar horse.
This segment is teaching the novice horse player how to bet. Now, I talk to a lot of gamblers. I see people in casinos, and I ask them, how come you don't bet horse racing? Because for one thing, horse racing is difficult to handicap. Very difficult. And then my thing is, I think it's harder to bet the race than it is actually to pick the winning horse. So say, for instance, that I just hammered Fierceness. And I knew Sierra Leone was going to be there. Now, if I wouldn't have been scared, I'm like, okay, let me bet Sierra Leone also. Had him to come in second or even come in first or come in third in my trifecta because I had all the horses around him, including Forever Young. I always throw the Japanese horse in there because sooner or later, the Japanese horse is going to win the Derby. And everybody's going to be like, But to me, the hardest thing is how to bet the race. Once you figure out how to bet the race, what's the superfecta pay? I think it paid $1. For $1, $8,000?
Yeah, they paid a lot.
So if you would have boxed 4 horses for $1, which would have cost you $24, you would have got back $8,000. $8,000, maybe $9,000. So let me tell you this little story. I had a friend. She called me up, and I think it was the Medina. Was it Medina Spirit?
Yeah.
She asked me, what 2 horses. So she had Medina Spirit and the other horse, and I gave her the other 2 horses. She didn't know what she was doing. I told her to just box them, and she went up there and boxed them for the Superfecta. She calls me back, Lewis, did I win? And she won $10,000. Bought her a new truck. Didn't slip me $2.
Didn't win, Lewis.
I gave her the information. She didn't give me nothing. But she's a good friend of mine, so I was happy for her. You know, she's drunk, hollering and screaming. I'm like, can I get $50 for the information? She hung up on me. Anyway, getting back to the point at hand. To me, I think it's harder trying to bet, and we'll later on we'll talk about the trifecta and exactly. But today we're gonna go over win, place, and show. Take it away, Rob.
Well, win is win. So it's as simple as that. You bet a horse to win, and the odds are, you look at the odds on the board, and you bet a horse to win. You get whatever you bet times the odds. So let's say if you bet if a horse was 2-1 and you bet $10 on him, you're gonna get $22. I mean, you're gonna get $20 plus the 2. So place is second place. So if you bet a horse to place, all he has to do is he can win and come second. So
exactly.
Either way, you win. Which is what place is less money than the win, because the odds of him coming second, would be less than the win. And then third is show. That's third place. So if they win or come second or third, you win with the show bet. So and with a lot of place and show bets, you want to get the horses with the long odds, big odds, because that's when you'll get, decent payouts. If you bet a short odd horse with, place and show, you have to put a whole lot of money on. And a lot of people do that, and we call those bridge jumpers, because they'll see a horse would be 1-2, and then they'll put maybe $10,000-$20,000 on him because they're like, oh, he's going to show or he's going to place. Right. And so when they lose, they jump off the bridge. That's why they call them bridge jumpers. But when you're first starting, betting win and place, those are the bets you want to bet because they're easy, and then it'll help you understand, and then you can branch out into other bets. But win and place, those are the bets that you want to stick to when you're first starting.
So like I said earlier in our first broadcast, the object is to make more money, to win more money that you put in the race. Yes, it's good for bragging rights because you picked a winning horse. But for me, I want to make more money. So I'll give you a classic example. Around about 4 years ago, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, Jackie's Warrior was going off at 4-5. So, but I had handicapped Slow Down Andy, which was going off at 90-1. I'm like, this horse can win this race. So he jumps out in front, coming down the stretch. Slow Down Andy is in the lead. He took second, and Jackie's Warrior came fourth, going off at 4-5. So for him, place, and he was going off at 90-1. He paid $54 to come in second, and I think the winner went off at 7-2. So that's $9. So who really won the race? Even though my horse took second,
yeah.
I get back $54. The winning horse, you can brag all you want to, but I got way more money, $9. So that's what we're here to teach you. So we will also give you the long shots who we think will maybe show a place, and you can also make more money. And if you get the winning horse, a little bragging rights. Okay, but this race before Muth was scratched, like I said, there was really no money in the race. I mean, going off at 8-5, you bet 10, you get back 16. So the best thing is to find a long shot that may come in second or third. What's the name of that horse? Mustafa?
Tago.
I don't even know the name of the horse because I'm not going to bet it. But let's say he goes off at 50-1. He comes off
50-1. But he's not going to hit the. Yeah, that was a bad.
Let's say he get lucky and comes in third.
Bad example. Don't bet.
No, don't bet him. No, but I'm just saying he comes in third and you get back what, something like $8.
It depends on who wins too. Because if the chalk, whoever's the favorite, don't win, and it's more money to the place and show. If the favorite don't win, so Uncle Heavy would be a better with Irad Ortiz. That would be.
The
We're
rock star.
probably going to go off at around 25 to 1. So yeah, I would take a chance on that. And I am going to take a chance. On
Yeah, because I love
to place and show.
So, with that being said, you know, the win, place, and show, it's okay to, you know, to bet across the board, you know, for the first time, you know, bettors and, you know, females, this, that, and the other. What I always do, so say for instance, I bet win, place, and show. I always bet, maybe I'll bet $2 on the winner, but I'll bet $5 to place and show. So that way, if I do lose, you know, I don't lose all my money. So I put $500 in this race because I hammered a 17, but I did have the winning horse, Mystic Dan, that paid me $40 to win, and I had $10. So actually, I lost $300, but I minimized my losses. So that's just the safest way to play it. So that is our education on win, place, and show. Next time we'll do exactly.
So we want to thank everyone who watched us the first time, and we hope you listened to Lewis, and you won you a couple dollars. You know, the numbers, we did pretty well for our first time out.
We did good.
And, you know, we want to thank everyone. And my social media handle, you can follow me at Robert Rose Sr. That's Rose, R-O-S-E, on IG.
Mine's at RunFast, which includes Rob and I. You can find us on Instagram and YouTube and on Facebook. So with that being said, I'd like to leave you with this. Money won is a lot sweeter than money earned. We'll see you in the winter circle.